Hello, and welcome back. My name is Vincent B, and this is my cryptocurrency channel. I just recently signed up for this Wyckoff Stock Market Institute. So I'm going to talk about this today, and I'm going to talk about the trading bot and some of my techniques and how I have been so successful with it. And I'm going to also answer some of your questions, and I'm going to break down some charts. So we got a lot to go over. First of all, let's cover this new Learn Crypto course that I just signed up for. I'll have a link down below if you would like to sign up for that. It would help me a little bit to support this channel so that I could share the information that I'm learning here with you, and we can help to learn crypto together and make money together. And also, if you'd like to purchase the Gunbot, there's a link below for that. And again, that would help support me and my channel. So real quick, I'm just going to scroll down what's in the course. They have this on their channel and on their website, so I don't see any problem with showing you what is in the course. It breaks down real quick charts, buying and selling, chart studies, market techniques, and each one of these goes into a whole nother study, which I'm not going to show you all that, but here's just the basics. There is a final exam and a certification. Here's a little bit about Wyckoff SMI. It was founded in 1931 by technical trader Richard D. Wyckoff. The Wyckoff Stock Market Institute has been the leader in teaching technical trading for the past 85 years. Thousands of teachers have chosen to learn at the Wyckoff SMI for its proven trading techniques and invaluable proprietary market indicators. Rest assured, choosing Wyckoff SMI to help you become a better investor or trader, and it's the right choice. Okay, so the course is $250. They do have a 10% off coupon that I'll have to put down below. Yeah, let's not go. I'll go into this more later. I just wanted to show you that real quick. Somebody was asking me how much I have in my balance. I got $3,700 in here now. The day that I made $400, I started with $2,000 in here, and then when I seen that I had made $120 in about 5-6 hours, I think I started around midnight, and I woke up around 5 in the morning. And seen that I was up about $120, so I added another $700. So I had about $3,000 when I then made the other $300 with the robot. So that was over a 24-hour period, I believe, maybe a little bit longer. I can't remember exactly now. You're not going to make that all the time. I recently just had $200. I think it was $240. Sorry about that. I recently had $240 in here, and I was going to do the video, and it crashed on me. Every time I load a certain configuration file for NXT, it seems to crash. This window comes up white, and then it crashes. So I tried to start a new NXT file, and it crashed again. I think I'm gonna have to delete the configuration files. It's basically like a text file, and it's all in your Gunbot folder. I think you were also asking me if I would share my configuration files, and I don't think that will be a problem. If you would like to buy the bot from me, I'd have no problem sharing my files. And then somebody, I actually changed these on the fly, my Bollinger Band settings, and I'm going to get into my technique, strategy, theory, whatever you want to call it, for how I change these on the fly depending on what the market is doing and also what the trading pair is doing. So let me see what other questions you had. I will get back to you in the email as soon as I get done making this video. I just got these questions, and I've had similar questions about the Gunbot, so I'm gonna address them in a video, and that way maybe it'll answer some of your questions and save you from having to email me to ask these same questions. So you also wanted to know what the specs of my PC are to run the Gunbot. You looked at the website, but it's not clear the CPU, RAM, and storage or the OS. I believe it's for any OS. I want to say they have downloads for Windows, Mac, you name it, pretty much. I think pretty sure there's a Linux. So let me break down what my computer's running. As you can see, I have quite a few pairs running here. It did get a little warm, so I had to pull the side of my computer off and put a box fan up against it because it started humming kind of loud. I am staking several coins. I'm staking BitConnect, I'm staking Leo coin, I'm staking Neos, which I only got 5 Neo in here right now because I'm trading with them. And all of this kind of adds up. This and all these charts I'm running, this is only one screen of charts that I have. I have many other charts going too, and web pages and streaming video, and all that can kind of tax my computer. It's a newer computer. Let's get into the specs that I have here. Let's see, I should have them pulled up. Oh, where did they go? I have to pull this down. Here we go. I have a AMD FX 6300 6-core processor running at 3.5 gigahertz. I have 16 gigabytes of RAM installed, and it's just your not cheap RAM, but not not anything real. It's not like that real expensive gaming RAM either. I forget exactly, but it's 16 gigabytes. The system type is a 64-bit operating system, x64 based processor, so it's Windows 10 64, and I'm running a what are those hard drives that solid state hard drive. I think it's 200 gigs, so that helps your performance too. I wanted a solid state because they don't crash like your older style hard drives if you don't have a solid state. It can be a little tricky to install. I had to clone my operating system over to it, but that's a whole nother video right there. But so yeah, those are my computer specs, and I think that answers your questions. How much money I had to make that $400? It was between $2,100 for about 6 hours, and then about $2,800 to $3,000 for the rest of the time. So I don't know, you have to do the math on what the percentage that is, but that's pretty high. That's like one of the highest I ever got. I did do that before, but usually I make about $100 around there, sometimes 80, sometimes $1.20. On like down days when the market's in the red, I can still pull about $80 from about $3,000 in my account. So I'm not sure how much that is exactly. 1% would be $30, so 3% would be about $100. You're probably gonna pull about 3% if you really if you study the charts and adjust your settings on the fly depending on what the coin's doing. So if you really want to work at it, you could get 3%, or that's probably 12% if you really work at it and the market's doing really good and you pick good coin pairs. If you just put in your generic settings and let it kind of just run, you're probably going to get around 1%, maybe 2% on a good day, and then maybe less depending on how your coins are doing. And then it also would depend how many coins you're running, and how much capital you have. Okay, so I think there was one other question you had. Would I share my config files? Yes. And then, do you leave your Gunbot running day and night 7 days a week? Usually yes. I don't always run all of these coin pairs. I don't like to run so many without watching it. I will stop them. And also you can kind of turn it down to be less aggressive, so that it's not buying so much and selling so much and possibly accumulating bags, or you know, accumulating coins that you might have to sit on if the price goes down and you don't want to sell it at a loss. Sometimes when Bitcoin is shooting up real high, I will go ahead and get rid of some of my bags and jump on the Bitcoin train or Neo train or whatever that's, you know, shooting up, and kind of ride that up. And that way, you know, because if not, all your coins are just going to be going down while Bitcoin or Neo or whatever else is going up. So if you see that, if you think that trend's going to continue, you can go ahead and sell off some of your altcoins and jump on whatever's doing good. But that's risky, because if you sell all your altcoins at a loss and you jump on something and then that dumps, you could just be compounding your losses. So you have to kind of know what you're doing there. That's for a more advanced trader, which is why I recommend you learning how to trade, and I recommend the Wyckoff Stock Institute if you really want to learn some good trading techniques. And the main one that I use, or the main study that I use, other than the Bollinger Bands, of course, because the Bollinger Bands are how the bot operates. So let me color code these for you. The blue being the top band, pink being the bottom. And what the bot is going to do is it's going to sell around here and buy around here. Now the bot doesn't know exactly where these bands are, because the exchange doesn't share that information with the bot. So that's where the software has to come in and calculate where these bands are. So that's what I've out of the box. This is 330, I believe, and I've turned it up to some I have at 550, some I have at 400, and some I have at 330. I'm just experimenting with different things. It seems like if you crank them up more, I'm thinking that will help it decide. If this number is lower, then it's going to become more reactionary, and it's going to, if it's diving, then it's going to just look at that immediate dive, what's happening right now, and not look way back so much, and probably not calculate the Bollinger Bands as well, is what I'm thinking. At least that's my logic for increasing those, and it seems to be working good. If that's going to tax your memory more, I'm not sure. It might. Something to keep in mind. But as you can see, I have like over 30 coins running here. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. 5, 6. When I run the video recording software, it lags it even more, so that's why it's kind of laggy. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So about 34 pairs there. And I'm able to still record and process video and have, you know, 40 different charts up with studies running. So and my computer isn't the greatest. It's not the worst, but I hope that answers your question on what you need to run it. I might sell this right here real quick. Been sitting on this status forever. Maybe just free up a little bit. So let's get into these charts. My friend Nick over at Truth Blitz, he's running the bot as well and doing videos on it. If you want to check him out, I'll leave a link either in my description, or I'm sure he'll probably be down in the comments. If you want to click on his name, it'll take you over to his channel. He comments on a lot of my videos, so you should be able to find him down there. Cool dude, cool channel, go check him out. He sent me some screenshots of some charts. I was trying to communicate with him on Telegram. That's another thing, is I'll provide a Telegram or a Discord for us to talk and share strategies and things for the bot. If you want to purchase it through me, that's something that you'll have access to. Or other people that want to contribute, you know, you're welcome to, if you're going to provide, you know, useful information and not just spam referral links. Because I want it to be a place where we can learn and help each other. So let's go through some of these charts. He was asking me how do I determine how to set my bands, and I go mainly by the 200-day moving average. So, and also you sent me 15-minute charts, and this will work, but I tend to like to zoom out to the 30-minute when I'm setting my pairs, so that you kind of have a more wide perspective of what the coin's doing. This will work. You can use the 15-minute chart. I just like the 30-minute, and it doesn't even hurt to switch out into the day chart too, to kind of get different perspectives. I also even switch into the 5-minute to get more of a close-up of what's going on, especially if I'm doing buys or sells. Something to keep in mind. Anyways, but as far as setting the bot, your bands. And okay, so here's Monaco. It's above the 200-day. So now, most likely, let's zoom out on this SNT token here. I guess 30-minute will work. Let's pull up the 200-day moving average, and then we'll go and look at each chart. But just to show you a zoom out of how this isn't the best one, because it hasn't been performing well at all. This isn't really something you want to run. That's why I just sold it. But typically what the pair will do is it'll go above the 200, below the 200, above the 200, below the 200. It kind of like fluctuates between it. This one isn't the best example. Like, if it's always below it, that's probably not the best thing to be running with your bot. I'm not sure if this coin is. Let's find something that is good. Let's see what the cred looks like. It hasn't been the best, but this will work with most coins. I'm just trying to find a good example. So here we see how it goes under, above, etc. You know, and you know, this was when Bitcoin was going up, so everything was going down. But typically, it'll go above and below. Okay. So, Monaco. Here we see it going above. So statistically, the longer it's above the line, the more likely it's going to go below the line. And you're going to be stepping away, letting the bot run for hours, possibly days. You really should check it at least once 24 hours or once 12 hours and then adjust. I'm adjusting mine like every couple of hours, or I take a break to sleep. I let it run while I sleep, of course, but the more you check on it, the better it's going to perform. So here we have it going above the line. So you want to go into above the line mode. Okay, I have it below. I have just above the line mode, going from above the line down below the line mode, and then just went below the line mode, and then going up from below the line mode. So there's like 4 different ways that you can set your bands. So try not to make this too complicated. But if you're going up, then you're gonna want to sell. Okay, so your top band. All right. from here to this middle line is 100%. Okay, same thing with this bottom line. From here to here is 100%. So if you set 50% from your top band, that's going to be about midway here. Okay, so now once you're above the 200 day, I like to look for that sell, because you're not going to be up there forever. Eventually you're going to come back down, probably pretty soon, especially if you've been up there for a while. So the longer you've been up above the 200 day and the higher you're up above it, the more quickly really I would want to sell. So I tend to set my top band high. Okay, so I'll set it to 45, 55, 65% to hurry up and make that sell before it starts coming back down. You know, you want to get that sell while it's up above the line. You know, that's going to be your best point. So that's when I increase my top band. And then when you're below the line, I tend to keep it kind of low at 25, 35. Okay, because you're not really concerned about selling way down there so much. Okay, now the other thing that's going to come into play is your gain. You don't have to use gains, but I like to mainly use gains. Okay, and let's show you on the bot. Right here's your gains. Okay, here's your top band, here's your bottom band, and here's your gains. So with gains, if you're above the line, then depending on the coin, if it's a real big mover like Neo, I like to have high gains, especially with Neo. I've been known to set Neo up to 20% and hit it. Okay, but you're not going to be able to do that with a lot of coins. The factory default is 2%. So if you're already above the line, I wouldn't push it too much, you know. If you're already above the line and you're just now starting your pair, then you're going to start buying above that line. You're probably not going to go too much higher, so you don't want to gain too much higher, and you want your high band high. So in other words, you want to hurry up and sell before you go back down below the band. Okay, now if you're way down below the band, which is really the best time position to start your pair, then you can crank your gain up, because most likely, you know, now everybody's style is differently. You might want to make a couple little sales below the line there, and you might want to keep your gain at 2% or maybe even 1.5%. Keep in mind there is a fee of, I believe, 0.3% off of Bittrex, so that's going to cut into that gain, I believe. So you don't want to go too low. I like to go at least 2%. That's the factory default. But if you are way down below the moving average, I tend to like to crank that gain up to like 3, 4, maybe even 7 or 8. I tend to like that lucky number 7 seems to work good. And that way you're not selling at 2 when you're having a big gain. Like this gain here is probably, I would have to know what these numbers are exactly, but this could be like a 10% gain right here. And if you set it at 2, what's not going to happen is it's not going to go up 2 and then buy here and then go up 2 and then buy here. It doesn't work like that. You have to have substantial dips for it to buy and sell. Okay, so you're better off, instead of just setting 2 right here, you're better off setting 10. And again, that's if you're below the line. If you're loading the coin down here below the line, set your gains high, set your high band low. And then if you're adding the coin while it's up here above the 200 day, then you want to set your gain low at like 2%, and you want to set your high band high so that you can hurry up and make that sell before you go back down. Now your low band, if you're going to be going down, you want your low band low, because you don't want to be accumulating at a high point and buying all the way down. So if you're above the 200 day, then you're going to want your low band low, in my opinion, because as you're coming down, if that high band is high, the higher it is, the more it's gonna buy. Again, that's a percentage between here and here. Okay, so if it's high, if it's 100%, it's going to be buying all over the place down here. It's going to be buying here, it's going to be buying here, anywhere below this band, or at least where it thinks it is. It isn't even going to be exactly there. It could even be up here. So you want to be careful with how high you set your low band. If you really want to buy that coin, if it's a coin you don't mind holding, then go ahead and set your low band high. Let's look at a couple more of these charts here. Oh, you wanted me to draw on them. Okay, in this one, high band, low. Okay, low band, low. Because you're already high, you're going to be coming down, so you'll have plenty of time to buy. So if you're up above at this point, you want low. Oh god, that's terrible writing, sorry. Now if you're adding the coin here, okay, this is your add point. Okay, if you add here, then you want low, but if you're adding down below the band, let's say you add the coin while it's here, which is actually a good point to load it, then go ahead and set your high band high. And your low band could be high as well. I'll just do H and L from now on. It's kind of hard to write with this thing. I didn't realize it'd be this hard. So high if you're below the 200. Okay, there's your 200. If you're below, you want high bands. That way you buy before it gets too high, and you will sell as it gets up here, is my logic. Okay, I like to keep my high bands high a lot of the times. The main one I adjust is the low band, because that's going to determine how often you buy. The high band is not just going to sell there if you have your gains set high. So I set my gains high and my high band high, and it kind of works together to make sure you get good selling points. But with the low band low, gotta make sure you get good buying points. Okay, let's go to the next chart. Okay, so here we have Civic. Civic is way below the line. Okay, so you're below the line. Let's say you add let's say you're adding here. Now we don't know if it's gonna go down. Okay, it could go up. You know what I mean? Hindsight's 20/20, but at this point, if it just went down and you're like, it could, maybe it's gonna go up here because it's below the moving average. Now most likely it is gonna be going up above that moving average pretty soon, okay? Just from statistical averages, you know, because it'll go above the band, below the band, above the band, below the band, you know. So if it's below the band, statistically your probability is it's going to be above the band. But it also depends on what the market's doing. If altcoins are shifting up, if they've been down for a couple days, then statistically they're going to go up. So if you're below the band and it's been down for a couple days, then statistically they're going to go up. So you can go ahead and set your coins to start going up, okay, which is what we're going to assume is the case here. So if we're below the 200 day, then what you want to do is, being that you're going down, you might not want to set this this one too low, this low band too high, It depends on what, if you like this coin. I personally like Civic. I don't mind holding Civic, so I would go ahead and set this one at 25. Okay, and then I would set the high band at, I'll go ahead and set it at 35. Okay, but if you know you're gonna be going down, see, at this point we don't really know, but if you look at the trend is down, so you might want to only do 15. Okay, and then the high band, I go around 25 to 35. Okay, that's your low band, that's your high band. Let's go to the next chart. I hope I'm explaining. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them below. Okay, now this one, okay, we've been above the band, we dipped down below, now we're going up above. So we've been above quite a bit here. This is waves, so chances are you're going to be going down, so you want to make that sale. So you want your high band high. I would say we'll put H for high, and we'll say between 35 and 55, maybe even 65. Okay, and then your low band, sorry that's really hard to read, I'm not the greatest with this program, but your low band would be, there's multiple factors there. Do you have coins already? Okay, if you're already holding coins, I would set it low. But if you're not, like if you rate, I don't know where exactly you're adding the coin. I mean, if you're adding it here, then you want to set it high so that you buy right away. But if you've already bought, then you want to set it low because it could be going down. You know, it's tricky. It's hard. There's not like a general rule of what to do. You kind of just have to go by, you know, what you have to do technical analysis. You know, you have to know how to use your moving averages, your Bollinger Bands, and your MACD. Really, you know, that's what I use. So for this one, this band, I would go ahead and I'll go ahead and do 25. And that's because you want to hurry up and buy so that you can make the sale. Now as it starts to go down, this one looks like it's trending up. So if it continues to go like that, then you want it to buy here. And that's why it's 25. You might even want to make it 35. Okay. Sorry it's so sloppy. I don't know. I'll have to figure out something better way to draw. I didn't realize it was going to be that sloppy, but I think you get the idea. You could always copy, you know, what I did here and redraw it neater for your channel if you want to use these examples. Okay, now here's a good example of a coin it's in the process of dumping. Okay, you're going below your 200 day. You've already been above it, so you could be diving down into the deeps here. So at this point, you want a low. You know, if you think now metal does pretty good. If it was a coin that you didn't really want to hold bags of, see, I don't mind holding metal, but if it's kind of a crap coin that you don't really want to have a bunch of it, if you set your low band high, the bot's just gonna buy this up all the way down, and you're gonna end up with a bunch of it. Even if you tell it to only trade with 0.2, it still could buy a couple times, and you could end up with 0.06. Okay, so that's here your balance to trade. So at 0.02, it could buy several times. It could buy here, here, and here if you have your low band set high. So in this situation, I would want like a number between like 1 and 15. Okay. And then your high band's up to you. You might want it high to make sells down here, or you might want it low to wait until you get back up above this moving average. Being that you're kind of right on the average, I would go like your default in between 25 would be a good place to be, in my opinion, because it could just kind of ride this line. So kind of like middle ground would be a good place to be, I would think. Kind of like just think high and low. If you're high above the moving average, have your high band high. If you're below the moving average, you might want it lower, because that's my style. I'm not looking for a bunch of little cells making 1%. I'm trying to get like 6-7% gains. To me, I think that is more worthwhile than getting that 2% gain, because it could take days for you to make that 2% sale. And you know, after holding them coins for days, 2% ain't really good enough for me. I want like 7%, you know, for having my money tied up for, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. You know, it could be a week before it comes back up to this point that you're loading the pair. So you want to get like 7%, so that you get at least 1% a day for tying your money up, you know, or else you might as well put it in BitConnect and get 1%. You know, that's kind of how I look at it. You know, of course, BitConnect then ties your money up, and it's in a third party's hand, and you know, I could see why people don't want to just do that. You know, with this, you could always sell at a loss if you need money and want to jump into something else. So there's that one. And then I would look for like a 2% gain, maybe 3% at this point, if you're just loading it here. And then how I figure it is, the longer that you are holding the coin, the bigger gain you're going to want to have. So like every day that I'm holding a bag, I like to kind of crank my gains up an extra percentage, because every day that the coin isn't shooting up is more chances that it will shoot up, is my thinking. But the other thing is, what is the market doing? If the market's been performing bad and you think it's going to continue to perform bad, then you might not get that 7-8% gain. You might want to just settle for 2. You know, it's up to your whole strategy and style of trading. You know, some people like that every day making something. Other people don't mind waiting for days to make that big sell. You know, a lot of people will just hold on to a coin for a week at a time, you know, like a swing trader. You know, a lot of people use the bot as a day trader, and they just want every day making a little bit of percentages here and there, because the bot's doing the work anyways, so they're happy with just little bits here and there. Other people will buy a coin and then wait a week, and then if it's up in a week, you know, they'll also put what they want to make. You know, if you're holding a coin for a week, you might want to make 7%. So wait a week. If you're at that 7% goal, you know, you gotta set a goal. When you enter a trade, you want to set a goal of what you want to get for that trade. You don't want to just be going by your emotions, you know, or what you think is going to happen in a moment. You got to have a plan, an entry plan and an exit plan. So here's Neo. Now Neo, I like to have you're below your 200-day here, so most likely you're going to be going up anyways. So Neo is known to really shoot up for a while. You know, we've seen that this morning where it just shoots up and up and up and up, goes way up above the band. You know, for bar after bar, it'll be up above the band. So you want to set, in my opinion, your high band to low in this example here. Low, like 5, maybe even 1, 2, you probably go 20, maybe 10 or 15 would work there. And that's, you know, I might even go 5 because I don't mind holding Neo. If it doesn't make that sale at 5, now if you set it at 5, there's a good chance you're not going to make the sale. It's only going to sell when you're doing really good, when it's shooting up through that band. That's when it's going to make the sale, or when you meet your gains. Okay, so I believe that if you put a 5% gain and you get I think it'll sell right at that gain regardless of where the top band is. I'm not 100% on that, but that's what it seems to do for me. But I tend to have my top band set pretty high, but Neo I tend to set low, probably 15 in this case, because I called it that this was going to shoot up this morning. I told you in the Telegram I was expecting the dragon to fly very soon, and this morning it did. So you would have been good setting this at 5-10% top band, and then your gain, I said to put your gain at 20%, and we went up 25 or more, so you would have hit that, and that would have been a nice come up. And you know, you could have got 20% in your sleep. So bottom band with Neo, and it depends on, do you have coins or not. If you're not holding, then I'll crank this up high so that you start accumulating coins. And if you don't mind accumulating Neo, like I don't mind holding it, I'd go ahead and set this high at maybe 35-45%. You know, between 25 and 45. Okay, depending on how much you want it to buy. Okay, that's your bottom band. I hope that makes sense. I don't know how else to really explain it. It depends on so many different factors. You know, it depends on what your moving average is, also your volume. Depends on your I like to look at the MACD too, but then it almost gets into the point where you might as well just manual trade. You know, you don't want to get too in depth with it. You're trying to just kind of figure out an estimate. You're using technical analysis to get an estimate of where it's going to go, and then set your bot accordingly. And it also depends on how many of the coins you want to have, and how many you have already, and do you mind holding the coins. Okay, so I hope that explains it. I'm not sure what else to get into. Let's go ahead and look at some of these other settings here. This time delay, the more pairs you're running, the higher you probably want to have this. If you're only running a couple pairs, you can go ahead and drop this down to like 15-20. You don't want to drop it down too low, or you will be spamming the exchange, and the owner of the Gunbot could remove your license possibly. I believe it says on his website. And also, if you crank these all down real low, then and you have a bunch of pairs, and it's gonna kind of lag you, I believe, because it's gonna be trying to run, like, let's say you have 30 coins all firing at 15-second intervals. That's gonna stress out your processor more. But if you only have a couple pairs, then 15, 20 would be good. I tend to keep mine at I'll go ahead and show you my settings right now for them. You can see I have, being that I'm running so many pairs, I have most of my time to lay up at above 30, like 31, 32. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go through them because I'm recording a video. You can see we've made some already with Sidecoin. And I've just launched the bot a couple hours ago because of a crash, and I believe that's because of a something wrong with one of my config files. It's whenever I run NXT it crashes, so I'm going to delete the NXT file and restart, create a new file. You just type in oh, you can't see, I don't want to show my API key just to have an extra level of security. Candlesticks, I'm experimenting with different ones. I tend to go with 15 though. Try to go through and show you my configs for the different pairs, and if you want you could pause the video and copy them. But I'm constantly changing these, so these might not be the ideal pair. And like I said, it depends on what the market's doing. How many of the coins do you have? How many do you want to have? And what kind of gains are you trying to achieve? Are you trying just to do quick, rapid small sales? You just do lots of them. The problem with that for me is it just doesn't fire often enough. I've tried running lots of small buys and sells, and it just doesn't buy and sell quick enough for me. And not sure why that is, but I've tried to I've cranked these all the way up to like 100%, and this down to like 1%, and these way down, and this way down, and this down, and it still doesn't buy and sell that often. I'm not sure why that is. There's limits to what this thing can do. It can only do so much. You can only buy and sell so much. But if you're patient, it really isn't bad. The passive income that you can achieve is very nice. I don't have very much in here right now, but like I said, I just started, and the market's already up big time. So the point to accumulate is kind of over. I am kind of surprised there isn't more selling going on, but everything's just kind of going sideways right now. We've already had a jump up, so a lot of the, and it already made several sells before it crashed. So now, it takes a couple hours to make buys, and then a couple more hours to start making sells. So it takes a little while to get going. You're not just going to fire this bot up and have it buying and selling. You're going to have to wait a while for it to do anything. So don't think that it's not working when you first start it up. It just takes a little while. Just be patient, and I believe the longer it runs, the more accurate of an idea it's going to get of what the market's doing. Also, what helps is to purchase a small amount when you first load your coin pair up. So let's say you load up Syscoin, then buy a small amount, and then that way that information is sent to the bot, and it gets an idea of where the price is at, and then it can then calculate its Bollinger Bands. That kind of doing a small sale when you first start the pair, I feel like that kind of jump starts it a little bit, because then it's gonna have some ammo to then sell, and then once it sells, it's gonna get an idea of where the top band is, and then as it buys, it'll get an idea of where the bottom band is, and it's going to take all them different prices and calculate your bands a little bit better. Okay, let's take this here. Here's our top band at 2930 Satoshi, bottom band at 2772. So let's go over to Syscoin here. Moving rather quickly for running so much stuff. It's not super taxing on your system, even if you're running 35 pairs, which is kind of insane. You probably shouldn't do more than 30, just for your sanity's sake. Unless you feel like holding 35 different pairs, which you've seen how much I'm holding. So anyways, top 2930, bottom 2772. This says high 2850 when it's really 2930, low 2774 when it's really 2772. So the low is almost right on, but the high's a little bit off. And I don't think that's because of these band settings. That would be separate. So where it's buying is going to be 36% below. For example, the high is going to be 36% below this high. So 10% would be 28, 50. Let's just say 3. 30% would be 9. So it'd be about 1900 Satoshi is where you're gonna sell. Wait, no, yeah, almost 2,000. Wait, high band. Wait, no, that can't be right. 2,700. I'm sorry, wrong decimal point. So 27. Wait, no. I'd have to get a calculator. I tried to do that in my head, but I think you know what I mean. It's going to be 35% below that top band. So, let's go ahead and take your high band there. Times 0.35, I believe it would be 35%. So you would take that. What is that? 5 zeros. We'll just say 998. 5 zeros, 998. Okay, 1850 is where that would look to start selling. So where is it? 28.50. Right around there. It's gonna be your sell point. Okay, now it's only gonna sell there if you have if you've met your 2% gain. So if the bot for some reason bought up here, let's say it bought right here, and then it comes over here, let's say it bought here and then it hits here, even though you're hitting your top band at 35% here, it's not going to sell there. It'll sell when you make your 2% gain, which may be here. It probably is, but it might not be. It might not be till up here. It might be the 2%. So it won't sell at a loss. It'll only sell when it gets that gain. So you kind of have to determine where you want to be at. Do you want to make fast small sales, or do you want to be patient and wait for them bigger sales? It's up to you. So I hope that explains my theory of how I set my bands on the fly. It is kind of a lot of work. You don't really have to do all that work. You could always just use your out of the box settings of 25 and 25 and 2 and 0.02 to trade with, and 330 and 30. That's your default settings, and that'll work fine. That'll get you about 1% per day if the coin's doing good. You know, if the coin's doing really good, you could get 2, 3, you know, or more without even having to, you know, worry about anything. You just let this thing run and it's gonna stack them satoshis for you. Okay, and that's another thing to keep in mind. Just because you're running it and your USD balance is going down, that doesn't mean that the bot's losing you money. That's kind of what I thought at first. When I first ran it, I seen it doing all these buys and sells, and I see my USD value going down. I'm like, what is this thing doing? Is it losing me money? Well, you gotta think in satoshis. So I've trained my brain to now look at this number more than this number. You know, so as long as you're stacking satoshis, I spent $200 and some earlier, but I haven't added any money. I've just spent that 200, and when I woke up today, I had I had 0.764 Satoshi. Okay, and then one point today I was at 0.94. And then I spent $220 some to join that stock institute, and I'm still up above where I started out this morning. Now, a lot of that, here's the coins that I'm trading. Wait. There. So there's my portfolio. A lot of people don't like sharing their portfolio, but I'm gonna share mine to help you understand how the bot is performing, and hopefully it helps you, you know, helps you make money. So overall, the market was really up. Now it's just kind of so up, and that's why it's not really making sales right now, because it was restarted after the big pump up, and now it's kind of just going sideways. So while BitShares is up a lot, I should jump on there and just manually trade. As far as I can tell, you can go ahead and trade right alongside the bot. The problem is, if you have an order in and so much time goes by and the bot looks at that order, it will decide if that order is according to its programming, and it will cancel it if it's not. So if you put in a buy order or a stop limit order or a sell order, and then the bot looks at that order every 30 seconds or whatever, it's going to check. It doesn't seem to happen that fast, but a couple minutes after placing the order, you'll see the bot then remove your order. So you can manually trade as long as you're quick. And then if you want to manual trade, all you got to do is come in here and hit stop, and that will remove it. And then to restart it, you would hit load. But I heard you're not really supposed to do that much. It kind of screws it up a little bit. If you stop it when it's at one point and then start it up at another point, I imagine it would confuse it a little bit, but it's not really that bad. It tends to figure things out and correct itself, but I've noticed sometimes it'll sell a little quicker than maybe it should if you're stopping and starting your config files a lot. See, I have quite a few config files, so I think I've made this video long enough. Oh my goodness. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful. Thank you very much for watching and for supporting me. I greatly appreciate everybody that buys the bot from me or signs up to Wyckoff. I highly recommend the class. I'll be doing a detailed review on it, and also my other passive income programs such as BitConnect. I highly recommend BitConnect to kind of make that little bit of extra passive money. I like to be diversified. Nothing is 100%, not BitConnect and not the exchange either. You could get your exchange hacked. Happens, it does happen. Or the whole exchange could even go down. Nothing is guaranteed in this, so that's why I like to diversify into BitConnect and other programs to kind of get at least something coming in every day. And that's also why I'm staking coins to making just little bits of passive income from this program, that program, and the other one. My newest one is wired coins. It's 3.6, so who knows how long it's gonna last, but that at least the English is nice and the website is very clean, and if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link. Anything that any kind of support that I could get would be greatly appreciated. I was selling on Amazon and eBay for extra money, and I just got royally screwed on Amazon. I sold about $1,000 worth of things, and the guy said that it was defective and kept the products, and I didn't have the money to pay for the return shipping, so Amazon says he gets to now keep all of my stuff, and I still have to pay the fees and shipping and everything. So I ended up losing like $1,000 worth of merchandise, and I actually owe money for losing everything. So now my Amazon account shut down, and eBay's limiting how much I could sell, and Coinbase has shut down my account as well. So I'm just having all kinds of problems right now. So any support, I greatly appreciate it, and thank you for whatever you can do for me. A like, a share, a subscribe. If you want to hit the bell for notifications when I do another video, I'll continue to try to provide different ways of making money for you and educating you on how to trade. I'll share what I learned from Wyckoff, and maybe someday I'll have my own school, who knows. But if you want to check out wired coins, don't invest anything more than you can afford to lose. But I do like this program. It's fairly new. It's only like 18 days in, so maybe you want to give it a try. Don't be too greedy though and go crazy. I have been successful with these programs before. You want to throw some money in, let it run for a couple days, and then you can pull your money back out. That's the nice thing about this one. After 24 hours, you can go ahead and pull your money out and take your profits and be on your merry way. So that, I thought that was pretty cool. And that's it. I'll be talking to you again here shortly, and good luck to you trading. If you have any questions, leave them below. I have some emails here to answer and some trading to get to, and I will be checking in with you here soon, let you know how everything is going. So have a good one, and I'm out. Talk to you later. Peace.